All right, let's go.
So what I'm going to do here, I've got the mixture set to rich. I'm going to crack the throttle open slightly. I'm going to yell clear prop, and then once I yell that, go ahead and crank it, and I've got the throttle. Clear.
Oil temperature screen, oil pressure screen. God, this thing is so hot.
Is it really hot? Yeah, probably.
Do you feel the metal there? That is.
Yeah. Are the pads okay?
They're pretty warm, but it'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
I cannot hear you. I want to move it closer to your mouth.
I got you loud and clear, Zach. Do you have me?
Yes.
Okay. And passengers, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You guys can hear me. Okay, good.
Okay, we hear you now.
Very good.
So this thing, ignore completely.
Don't pay attention to these. I'm going to set our fuel capacity. We've got 28 gallons. Go ahead and set that in here.
Yeah, that looks about right, doesn't it?
We are inverted and currently diving towards the ground.
Yeah. All right.
We'll let that boot up. That'll be okay. But yeah, the main thing, you already mentioned it, which was great. Oil temperature, oil pressure, the ammeter right there should have a slight positive charge, which it looks like it has a very slight positive charge. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, let's get the AWAS, listen to the weather, and we'll see which, we'll confirm which runway we're going to go off of. Basically, we've got COM 1 right here, and we've got COM 2 right down here on this panel. 124925 is our AWAS frequency, so I'm going to hit the COM 2 button right here, and we'll listen to the weather.
Observation 1643 Zulu weather wind 080 at 4 visibility 104,500 scattered temperature 29 Celsius dew point 17 altimeter
But that's above ground level,
3013 remarks
That's not
density
an issue,
altitude 2,900
Density altitude almost 3,000, so not too bad today. Okay, and the winds were 080 at 4, so that is favoring runway 5. So we'll use runway 5 over here.
And the circuit's left-hand, I assume.
It is, yes.
So if we depart on the downwind leg, that'll work? Or do we want to just turn straight out?
We can do that. Let's just, what we can do today might save us a little bit of time. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do a downwind departure. We'll do a left downwind departure. That'll be fine. Close my door here real quick. Okay, I've got the radios here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a radio check to make sure everybody can hear me. And I'm going to adjust. Testing.
Pulse needs to go down slightly.
Testing. All right. That's about right there.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to do a radio check. Shenandoah Unicom 5409 Juliet, radio check.
It's loud and clear, 09 Juliet.
All right, we're loud and clear. So.
Altimeter's 3014.
Yep. So that's about right. Basically what we do here, since we know the field elevation, we pretty much just set it to 1200. And that usually gets us very close, but we know we're 1200 here. So I just match it right there.
Yeah, that works.
That's good. And then, are you familiar with the little triangle and the rectangle for your turn coordinator there at the top?
I haven't seen that design, no.
So you know how normally you'd have a ball?
Yeah.
That's basically this little rectangle. So basically if that deviates to the right, it's the same thing. You've heard of step on the ball, probably?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, step on the rectangle. Okay. I'm going to check my brakes quickly here, so I've got the flight controls. Alright, my brakes are good, and I'll go ahead and I'll let you take test your brakes. So your flight controls.
Got it.
A slight bit of throttle. Okay, very good. Alright, now you can pull that throttle back. We'll idle around 800, 900 RPM. Good, right there. You still have the flight controls. I've got the radios. Are you ready to taxi?
Yeah, we're going to the left, I assume.
Yeah, so what we're going to do before we start here, we're going to head out sort of next to the hangar here, and then we're going to runway 5. So if we head sort of straight out that way, you'll see the center line once we get a little bit farther out. Okay?
Okay, cool.
I'm going to make a radio call real quick before we go. And I'm going to put your flaps up. Shenandoah traffic, Skyhawk 5409 Juliet, taxiing from the tie downs to runway 5, Shenandoah. Okay, go ahead and taxi for me. I'm watching your wing over here, so just watch that wing. That takes a little bit of throttle. There we go, to get moving initially. And then you can probably cut it back a little bit. Good.
Not really a center line here, just...
Yeah, there will be once you get out there. So for now, just make sure your wing is separated from those airplanes. I'm watching your right wing on this hangar, so you're clear over here by a good bit.
Perfect.
I'm going to turn your strobe light on as well. And then let's head slightly to your right here. You should see a center line over here once we get closer. Head just sort of slightly left of the fuel trucks. There you go, you can see the center line right over here.
The yellow here, yeah?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
What color are they in the UK?
No, I was just checking. That's the line you meant. They're yellow as well.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, oh. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with all the different procedures and you know, everything over there. So let's hold short for a second before we get on to Alpha. Here is the taxiway, and all I'm going to do, we're just going to check to the left and to the right to make sure we're clear. And then once you see that we're clear, then we can continue, and we'll take a right towards runway 5. Very good.
I'm slightly late though.
Easy to do. Just make sure you're not holding any brake and just push that throttle up a little bit. There you go. So when we're taxiing, you're doing a good job. I always keep my heel. Your feet are probably pretty big, so they probably take up most of the pedal anyways. But I always keep my feet on the floor until I need the brakes. Then I'll lift my heels up and I'll use those toe brakes. This here is the ILS critical area. We don't have to worry about it today. I don't know if you know anything about that.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, good. You're making it easy for me today. Very nice. Our hold short line is actually here on the taxiway, you'll see. So we're going to want to hold short of that.
We'll do power checks here, or...?
Yes, we will, yeah. We don't have anybody behind us, so we can just stay here on the center line. It'll be fine. And I'll quickly run us through that power check. We call it a run-up here. So just go ahead and pull the power to idle, and let's just stop right here. Alright, my flight controls. I've got the mixture all the way to rich. I turn off that taxi light momentarily here. Make sure all this is on, and I'm going to run the engine up to 1700 RPM. And since you can reach it better than I can, I'll have you do the mag check.
Yep.
So I'm at 1700. Go ahead and check the right for me first. Okay, that's a good drop, about 90. Go back to both. Okay, now left. That looks good to me. Back to both. Okay, good. I'm checking the vacuum suction right here. It's in the green range. Yeah. So that's good. I'm going to pull the carb heat out, and I see a good drop right there for the carb heat.
So was that 1700 RPM? Is that what I heard?
Yes, it was.
Seems low.
We're at 800 right now. Huh. But yeah, 1700, there's no sort of transmission or anything on these airplanes. The propeller is directly linked to the crankshaft.
Oh, yeah.
So it is relatively low RPM when you consider, like our cruise RPM is going to be somewhere around 2400 RPM or so.
So the propeller speed and the RPM are the same.
Yes, exactly. They're directly linked. There's no sort of transmission between them. All right, so run-up is done. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to run quickly through a before takeoff checklist, and that is going to be right here. Pre-takeoff briefing, we've already talked about, we're going to do a left downwind departure. So immediately it'll be a left turn. We'll enter a left.
500 feet above elevation, which is 1700 feet.
We'll go ahead and actually here, the pattern altitude here is 2,000 feet, but we're just going to continue climbing out. So I said we'll climb around 75 knots or so.
No, I mean to start the turn, 500 above our elevation. So start the turn 17, is that?
Yes. Yeah, 17. Typically here, We'll do 300 below pattern altitude, but that actually works out to exactly the same. It'll be 17. Yeah, because normally the pattern altitude is 1,000 above the field, but here it's different. It's actually only 800 feet. But yeah, 17 is when we'll start that turn. That'll be fine. All right. Flaps are up. Trim. You've got our trim right here. I'm sure you're familiar with that. We'll set that to neutral. That's about right.
Where's the indicator? Is that white?
Yes, it is.
So
there you go.
Got passengers in the back, so slightly forward maybe.
Okay, yep. And you'll just feel it out as you're flying. Adjust it as you need. Torpedo heat's off, don't need that. Flight instruments, let's see the DG, that's already set. It looks like you got that. Looks good.
That's the best compass I've ever seen. So easy to read.
Yeah, it is easy to read. And it's easy to match up with this. Yeah. This thing, I've noticed in this airplane, it drifts pretty quickly. We're not going to worry about it today, though, because it's not super important. We're VFR. Okay, traffic. I've not heard any other traffic in the area. I've not seen any other traffic in the area, so we should be fine there. But we're going to keep our eyes and ears open for that. Doors and windows. I'm going to close my window right before we take off, but I'm leave it open for now. Make sure your door is closed. It's
door is closed, yeah.
Okay, good. My door is closed as well. Takeoff clearance. We are not getting a clearance because it's an uncontrolled field. We're going to clear ourselves. Lights. I'm going to flip on the lights as we taxi onto the runway.
Okay. And we'll take the second turn on to use the whole thing, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, we can do that, yeah. We have enough if you want to take the first one too. I'll leave that up to you.
Second one. The runway behind you is useless.
Exactly right, yep. Lights, fuel selector, mixture. I've already set the full rich. We're going to leave it there for takeoff. Engine instruments, oil pressure and oil temperature.
On the green, we're at idle throttle, so it's expected that be in the range.
Exactly right, very good. Transponder is right here. We're squawking 1200 for VFR, and it's in altitude mode. So that's good. Correct runway 5 is verified, and IFR, we're not IFR, so we're going to disregard that checklist item.
Everyone in the back good?
Yes.
Joshua, are you excited?
Definitely.
Have you all flown in a small airplane before? I didn't ask.
I've not.
Joshua's never been on a plane.
Not at all. Okay, first time.
But he likes roller coasters, so.
It's going to be slightly less exciting than a roller coaster, I would say. Well,
okay.
maybe not for you, but we'll see. All right, your flight controls.
Control.
Back. And I'm going to make the radio call before you cross this line. Shenandoah traffic to Hawk 5409er Juliet, taking runway 5 for departure, departing to the southeast, Shenandoah. And it'll be a left downwind departure for 5409er Juliet. I'm going to open this back up real quick. You can see how quickly it heats up in here.
Oh yeah.
Got the air all the way on, yeah?
Yes, it's open. We pretty much leave it open this time of year. It's pretty much never closed.
Yeah.
All right, so we're checking final and base
final
over
approach
here.
Is clear, base leg's clear, and the downwind also, later stages of the downwind also look clear.
Very good. And I've got your lights. Your lights are all on. I always check flaps, mixture, carb heats, lights. Yeah. Everything looks good. I'll close my window now, and it's your airplane, Zach, so go ahead and line us up and take off whenever you're ready.
Runway ahead appears to be clear. We haven't had any other traffic. Got runway 5, and 5's also on the heading.
Yep, we're getting there. So it's possible to have a bit of weather developing here, it looks like. We're going to be heading that way, but we're going to keep an eye on that as we're flying. I've not heard that guy on the radio at all, so we'll listen for him as well.
Okay, we ready?
We're ready. Just maintain that center line. Like I said, rotate typically around 55, but just feel it out.
Yeah. Temperature pressure's in the green, airspeed's alive. There you go, feel it out. You got it. Delta 75 or so. Oh, that's bumpy.
We'll see if that gets better as we head out towards the south.
Valley 33 Whiskey, departing runway 5, Shenandoah Valley.
Alright, he's departing runway 5, but he didn't say where or how, so. Go ahead and turn us slightly to the right here so we maintain center line. Airspeed looks okay. We can fly a little bit faster, so you can just lower the nose a tiny bit.
This is difficult. It's very bumpy and windy.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Typical summer day in Virginia. And then once we're at that 1700, go ahead and do that crosswind turn. And we'll get turning away from this weather over here.
Yeah.
Hopefully that stuff moves. It might move towards us as we fly, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, we'll start a left turn now.
Go ahead. Just keep us climbing. We're not going to level out at pattern altitude. Keep us climbing, but we'll fly roughly a downwind leg. Looking good.
Shenandoah traffic Scout 5409 Juliet, turning left crosswind runway 5 would be departing the area to the southeast. Shenandoah.
Now looking good. Go ahead and give us that downwind leg turn and keep the climb going. That's good. Right at 75 knots. So you can tell we're heavy. We've got, what, 200, 300 foot per minute climb right here today.
Yeah. All just thermals with the bumpiness, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of rising air.
That bump right after we lifted was one of the biggest I've felt.
Oh, really?
But you can't react to that now.
No, you cannot. There's no way to anticipate it.
No. 1,200.
How are you guys doing back there? Good?
Yep. Great.
All right.
That bump right after we lifted scare you a bit?
Not really.
He smiled.
Good.
Oh, this is totally cool.
Birds above, not an issue.
Yeah, you're doing really good, Zach. I can tell you've done this before. Okay, so it's a bit hazy today, so visibility is not great. Let's keep our climb going, and I'll sort of look out here, and we'll see where we're going to navigate towards.
I would be starting a slight left turn, but...
You're good to start that turn, because
okay.
we're still climbing here. We're well above pattern altitude now.
For altitude now?
We are at
2,500.
Yep. I'll just shut up. I'll let Zach answer all the questions today. Let's climb up to 4,000 for now.
Okay.
That'll get us high enough to get through the gap easily.
Telling me the wind is 065 at 4 knots, but I don't believe that. It feels like there's some wind around.
Is that a ground wind? Or?
No, that it's meant to give me the wind up here, but...
Oh, is it?
I don't know. This thing does not want to climb.
No, it doesn't. We're pretty heavy today, and like I said, high density altitude, relatively high density altitude.
Want to adjust the mixture, maybe? That might help.
Yeah, we typically adjust it when we get to 3,000 feet, so that's what I'm waiting on here. But yes, that will probably help a bit.
Okay.
Give me about a 20-degree right turn here.
Okay.
Back. You see the low point in the mountain straight ahead of our nose? That's where we're headed. That's the gap.
Okay.
So that's right where the interstate cuts through the mountain. We've also got a very small airport here. It's going to be crossing off to our left side, Eagles Nest Airport. But we'll be far above their pattern altitude, so we won't be disturbing them at all.
This ball thing is kind of... it doesn't seem quite right. I don't know.
See here, let's add a little right rudder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there is about where you want
Okay.
it. Cool. Now, of course, it always takes more right rudder when we're in a climb and we've got a full power setting. All right, so yes, your mixture. That one you can turn counterclockwise slightly to adjust it outwards.
Okay. If you want to handle that, I know.
I can, yep.
Yeah.
I'll handle your mixture. You just keep flying. You can see we're getting a little bit better climb rate now.
Yeah.
Let's fly about, aim for about 80 knots now. It's sort of a cruise climb.
Yeah.
Between 80 and 85.
I enjoy the bumps as long as they're not constant.
Yeah. They're not too bad now.
No.
Skyline ground to number Golf, just a heads up, just getting pretty heavy rain out west of I-81 now.
Is there anyone to talk to around here? Like, I don't know what the radio situation's like.
Well, basically, we're just talking to anybody who's on the CTAF frequency.
How large an area does that cover? Is it just for the airport?
It covers. It's not necessarily a certain area, but it covers. It's the. We can actually hear traffic that's talking to at other airports as well, because they just happen to use the same exact frequency.
Okay.
So, like that last radio call was Front Royal. That's another airport that's pretty far to the north.
Cross-check altitude. Yeah, I definitely am, so I don't believe that.
Alright, you can see that gap that we're flying towards. Very good. I'm keeping an eye on the weather situation here. We do have some weather that's building off to the west, but I'm watching it here on my weather radar, so I'll keep you updated on that. If we have to divert, we have to divert. That'll be an exciting adventure as well.
I'm just going to continue the climb 4,500 on it initially, is that what?
Yeah, you can do that. That'll work.
Got to stop below the cloud, obviously.
Yep.
I'm not good at estimating altitude from cloud. What do you think that is?
Nobody is good at it, but that's reasonable right there. That's acceptable. I'd say if we level off at 4,500, that'll probably be okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to get a whole lot closer to that, but I mean, that's a small cloud. There's not an airplane in that cloud. We know there's not an airplane in that cloud. The whole point of the cloud separation minimum is
4,500.
There you go, good. Level off right here.
Let the speed build up a bit 'cause it's so hot. Alright.
There you go. You can keep the RPM a little higher than that.
Coming around here. Oh, what?
See that tallest peak out there?
Yeah.
That may be, I'm not exactly sure. It's either that one or the next one will be the one.
What do you think the visibility is around here? It's hard to... Probably...
It's at least 5 miles.
At least 5, you said.
At least 5, yeah. It's more than 5, I'm sure, but it's not great. But it's well above our VFR minimum.
Traffic, Skyline 914.
You instrument rated?
I am, yes. I'm actually not instrument current at the moment, but I am instrument rated. I'm not a CFII, so I'm not an instrument instructor yet. I'm working on that.
Okay.
You can see Eagles Nest Airport, that small airport I mentioned to you earlier, is sort of just in front of our wing out there, if you can see. And you can see clearly now the interstate that you drove up here on as it cuts through that gap. And this...
Jay, you're quite quiet. Move a bit closer, I think.
Is that the airport down to the left?
That is an airport, yes. What's
that?
It's called Eagles Nest Airport.
Okay. That's the one you mentioned.
Yeah, that's the one I mentioned. And that runway is like 2,800 feet long, I think. It's significantly shorter than ours.
I was saying the wind's from basically straight north, so that's right behind us.
Yep.
So I don't know much about kind of mountain flying. We need to worry about mountain waves and anything like that, or
you may get a bit of turbulence as you come over the mountains, and I would expect we will probably. But with the winds are pretty light today. It's not a significant wind, so I wouldn't expect it to be much of an effect.
So stunning. No, just right now.
Yeah, we'll keep on. This is a good heading for now, and we'll sort of fly out on this heading until we're clear to where we can make that right turn.
Just gotta continue judging the visibility though.
Yes.
Slightly now.
To the southwest,
Yep, whatever you need to do.
Runway 11, stay right there.
Process that nicely.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, a little bit right there. Right, guys, so if you look down to your left, that interstate, that's the interstate you drove in on from when you were coming from Richmond area.
So we want to be heading off to the right through the valley here, yeah?
Yeah, this heading's good. Go ahead and descend a little bit since we're a little close to these clouds. We're probably a